Hey everyone, how y'all doing? Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about some of the books that I want to read in the month of May. So I realize that we're already like a week into the month of May, but we're just gonna ignore that. But me and one of my best friends, Alyssa, decided that we wanted to dedicate the month of May to reading middle grade novels. It is an age category that I appreciate and I do love books from. My favorite book is a middle grade, but it's not an age category that I reach for very often, and it's not one that I consume as much as I would like. You know, I just really want to get into the age category. Middle grade books are so important and so much fun, and I just like I said, really want to find what kind of middle grades I love and really try to just get into it a bit more. And Alyssa also wanted to do it the same, so we're like, let's just host our own little mini read along for ourselves, and it's just gonna be a lot of fun. It's only been a week and I'm already having a blast. But I have some books that I already owned that are rereads or that I haven't yet gotten to that I want to read this month, and then I also have a bunch of books that I grabbed from the library that I'm super excited about. So I'm gonna go through the ones that I already own first, and then we'll jump into the library books. So the first book is my favorite book of all time. It is Wonder by R.J. Palacio. This is actually the illustrated edition that just came out this year. It's illustrated by Tad Carpenter, but I've actually already read this month. I just finished it yesterday as I'm filming this, but this is my favorite book of all time. Has been since like 2014, I think, 2015. I'm absolutely obsessed with this book. If you don't know what it's about, we follow our main character Augie, and he was born with a craniofacial difference, and because of this and because of all the surgeries that he's had to undergo, he's been homeschooled his entire life. But then when 5th grade rolls around and his surgeries have kind of slowed down, his parents decide that this would be the perfect opportunity for him to go to a real school for the first time, since he's going into middle school, and this is a year where there's going to be many new students and not just him. And so he goes to school for the first time, and he deals with classmates not being that nice to him because of the way that he looks, but he also finds some like really amazing friends, and it's just such a beautiful story. I am so inspired by Augie and just his whole like outlook on life, and this book just means the world to me. And so I knew, obviously, that I had to reread this book because it is a middle grade. It's my favorite middle grade, and it would just be wrong to do like a little mini middle grade read along thing without reading this book. So naturally it was my first read, and I am just obsessed with it. My love for this book, I feel like, just grows and grows and grows every time I read it, and it was no different this time because of the illustrations just really added to the whole story. Anyways, this is the first book that I wanted to read in the month, and I'm so glad that I've already read it. I'm just absolutely obsessed with this story. So the next two books are in like a little mini companion duology, and that is Furthermore and Witchwood, both by Tahereh Mafi. So this one I've actually already read. I read it back when it came out. I have not yet gotten to this one though. It came out like forever ago and I just never picked it up, but I have read this one, and at some point last year I started doing a reread of it, and I got up to page 92. Literally was at the end of a chapter. Don't know why I didn't just finish it, but I really like this book. It's full of like whimsy, and like it's just really colorful and fun, and obviously Tahereh Mafi has a gorgeous writing style, so that's like a big plus as well. But I have yet to read this one, and I desperately want to. Like, I've been dying to read it for years, and I just for some reason have never picked it up, so I figured this would be the perfect opportunity to finish my reread of this book and jump into this one. Alyssa's actually reading this one right now as I'm filming this, and she's really enjoying it, which is fun. But I can't remember what this one's about. Like, I'm really bad at describing it, but I know the main character, Alice, I believe is like void of color. Like, she's just not colorful while the rest of the world is, and she's kind of like an outcast for that, I believe. Her father is like one of the most important people in her life. He disappeared 3 years prior to the beginning of the book, and she is determined to find him. So it says, to bring father home, Alice will travel through the mythical dangerous land of Furthermore, where down can be up, paper is alive, and left can be both right and very wrong. And then she has a companion named Oliver, who is an experienced guide, and he has tangled secrets, and it's just like a beautiful story. It kind of reminds me of Alice in Wonderland in just like the terms of like how like weird things can be. Obviously her name's also Alice. I don't remember if it was supposed to be like a loose Alice retelling or if it just always reminded everybody of Alice in Wonderland, but I'm very excited for my reread of this. And then all I know about Witchwood is that our main character washes dead bodies for a living, and I've purposely never looked more into it than that. I don't want to know more. Like, I am sold on just knowing that she washes dead bodies for a living. So I am so excited for these ones. The next 4 books are all a part of a series, and I've never heard anybody anywhere on booktube talk about these books, but I was obsessed with them when I was like middle grade age. I was 10 when I read these books, I believe, 9, 10, and was just utterly obsessed with them. So it is the Suddenly Supernatural series. So mad that I own 2 in hardcover and 2 in paperback. it's always bothered me. But anyways, this is a really fun series about a girl who can see ghosts, and in each book she kind of has to help a ghost. But these are by Elizabeth Cody Kimmel. The first one is called School Spirit. I just remember these books being so much fun. I love ghosts. I love reading about books with ghosts, and I've just been wanting to reread these for years to see if I still like them, which I'm hoping that I do. Like, it's always a gamble when you reread like old favorite books, like childhood favorite books, because you just might not like them the same, but I'm desperately hoping that I still love these books. The second book is called Scaredy Cat. Then we have Unhappy Medium, which is the third book. Then we have Crossing Over. I remember really liking this one because it had like a touch of romance in it, which I just love. I'm really excited to reread these books. Like I said, I have not done so since I was like 11, and I'm really excited about it. So hoping that I can read these. And it's great because the font in these books are super huge. Like, look how huge that is. So I'm assuming that I'm gonna be able to read these really quickly because they're not that big to begin with, and then the huge ass font leads me to believe that I'll be able to read these very quickly. Anyways, I feel like these ones are ones that I'm like the most excited to reread. I just feel like it's gonna be a good time, you know? The next one I'm not like committed to rereading, but I thought that I would talk about it anyways in case I did decide to get to it. And it was actually Alyssa's first read this month, but it's Dear Sweet Pea by Julie Murphy. We all know that I absolutely adore Julie Murphy, and I read this book back when it first came out a few years ago. But it's basically about our main character Patricia, and her parents announce that they're getting a divorce, and she never could have imagined that they would have the brilliant idea to live nearby in identical houses on the same street. So they literally live in the exact same house on the same street. In between their two houses lives Miss Flora May. She's the famed local advice columnist behind Miss Flora May I. And one day Flora leaves for a trip and asks Patricia, Sweet Pea, her nickname is, to forward her the letters for the column. But Sweet Pea happens to recognize the handwriting on one of the envelopes, and what she decides to do with that letter sets off a whole chain of events. I would like to reread this book because I remember really enjoying it when I read it, but I wasn't like obsessed with it, and I'm hoping that like a reread will change my mind and make me like it even more. So we'll see if I have time to get to this one. I'm not going to prioritize it too much, but it is like a very short book and it was a quick read, so if I can get to it, great. If I can't, that's fine, but it would be nice if I could get to it. So the next one is the last one that I actually own, and it's another one that I'm not necessarily gonna like highly prioritize, but it is one that I'd like to get to, and it is The Atlanta Stories The Wishing Spell by Chris Colfer. This is a series that Peyton has been trying to get me to read for many years. It's a series that she really enjoys. It has like a very short description on the back that doesn't really tell you a whole lot, but it says, when the twins' grandmother gives them a treasured fairy tale book, they have no idea they're about to enter a land beyond all imagining, the land of stories where fairy tales are real. This does seem like something I would enjoy though, because I do enjoy fairy tales, and I've always liked the idea of like falling into a fairy tale and fairy tales being real. So I am looking forward to this one. Maybe I should prioritize it. Maybe I will. I don't know. I'm obviously gonna like prioritize library books first, I feel like, because they have a return date, whereas these ones I own. But I would really like to get to this one because if Peyton likes it, maybe I'll like it. I would like to like it, you know. I don't buy books hoping that I don't like them. So I'm desperately hoping that I love this book because one, they're really pretty. Like, they're just so cute. I love like the little spines, and I would love to own them all. So we're just gonna have to wait and see, I guess, but I'm very excited about this one. Now we have one of the ones that I am most excited for from the library. So we have Witchlings by Claribel A. Ortega. I have my library receipt in here. Don't want to lose that. This is Claribel's newest release. I read their debut novel, Ghost Squad, back when it came out in 2020, and I really enjoyed that one. It was very charming, very cute. So I've been highly anticipating this one. And this is actually a series, whereas Ghost Squad was a standalone novel. So every year in the magical town of Ravenskill, young witchlings participate in the Black Moon ceremony, are placed into covens, and come into their powers as full-fledged witches. Our main character, Seven, can't wait to be placed into House Hyacinth with her best friend. She's worked so hard to avoid being a spare, which is a leftover witch with lesser powers, and they're looked down on by everyone. But on the night of the ceremony, she is not placed into any covens at all, and she ends up being a spare. And then even worse, when Seven and other two spares perform the magic circle to seal their coven, it doesn't work. They're stuck as witchlings and will lose their magical abilities for good. So the Seven has to invoke her only option, the impossible task. Her and the other two spares must defeat the dreaded Night Beast. This just seems like such a charming story. These characters look adorable. This cover is amazing. I'm just so excited about this, and I hope that I love it because then I can buy it and add it to Ghost Squad. It's just gonna look so good. So I'm really looking forward to this one, and me and Alyssa are actually planning on buddy reading this together, and I'm just literally so excited. Like, it's gonna be the best time ever. So really looking forward to this one. And then we have a book called A Song Called Home by Sarah Zarr. This one I hadn't heard anything about, but I really wanted to read more contemporary middle grades because I feel like all of the like mainstream popular ones that people talk about are fantasies, and that's great, that's wonderful. I do love fantasy, but my heart belongs to contemporaries, and I think that I would possibly enjoy middle grade more if I read more contemporary options. So I was googling like different contemporary middle grades trying to find some, and this is one that came up that looked really interesting, but I can't remember what it's about because who would I be if I did remember, you know? Lou and her family don't have much, but for Lou it's enough. She has her mom and her sister Casey, her best friend, an apartment in the city, but it would be better if Dad could stop drinking and be there for her and her sister, and if they didn't have to worry about money all the time. But Lou doesn't need better, she only needs enough. Her mom gets a boyfriend named Steve, and it's just not what Lou is used to, and then he and her mom end up getting married, and that means moving. So packing up life as they've known it and storing it in Steve's garage, Lou will be separated from everything in her small but predictable life, farther from Dad than ever. Then on the last night in the city, Lou receives a mysterious birthday gift, a guitar left for her by their front door. There's nothing saying who left it, but it must be from Dad. And as she leaves the only place she's ever known, she starts to believe that if she can learn how to play it, maybe she can bring a piece of him and her old life home. This just seems like it's going to be emotional, but like really beautiful as well, and I'm just like really looking forward to this one. Absolutely love the cover. Lou looks so cute there. Okay, so I know I've said this a lot, but I feel like this is actually the one that I'm the most excited for out of all of these books to read, and it is The Chance to Fly by Ali Stroker and Stacey Davidowitz. It's actually blurbed by Chris Colfer. We love that. So I've been trying to get my hands on this book for probably around a year. My library didn't have it, but I looked at a different library and they had it there, and I hadn't previously thought to check this library, but when they had it I was like, oh my god, like I need this book right now. Like, come on, this cover is so cute, and it deals with musical theater. 13-year-old Nat loves a lot of things: her dog, her best friend, and competing on her wheelchair racing team, the Zoomers. That sounds like so much fun. There's one thing she's absolutely obsessed with: musicals. From Hamilton to Les Mis, there's not a cast album she hasn't memorized and belted along to. But she's never actually been in a musical and never even seen an actor who uses a wheelchair for mobility on stage. And she doesn't know if somebody like her would ever get cast. But her family moves from California to New Jersey, and Nat stumbles upon auditions for a summer production of Wicked, and she gets into the ensemble. The other cast members are super cool and inclusive, well, most of them, especially Malik, the male lead and cutest boy Nat's ever seen. But when things go awry a week before opening night, will Nat be able to cast her fears and insecurities aside and defy gravity in every sense of the song title? This is gonna be perfection. Like, I can already tell you I'm gonna be obsessed with this book, and I have been trying to like temper my expectations for it, but I can't. I simply cannot. So I'm hoping to read this one this weekend as I'm filming this. Like, I might have already read it by the time this video goes up, but I am just so excited. Like, I've been waiting long enough. Like, I'm surprised I haven't already read it. I'm gonna love this book. I can tell. I will be severely upset. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I will be devastated if I don't love this book. Okay, the next 3 books are like graphic novel type stories. So the first one I'm actually gonna read today as I'm filming this, and it's Stargazing by Jen Wang. And this one seems like it deals with a family moving in next door to our main character, and they go from unlikely friends to best friends, but then a catastrophe of some sort strikes and they have to like deal with it. It just seems like a really cute graphic novel. The art style seems to be really cute and something that I'm going to enjoy. Again, I have no expectations going into this. I know nothing about it beyond what I've read on the back, but I'm excited to get to it. I'm not the hugest graphic novel person, but I thought I would go ahead and try a few just to see if maybe I like middle grade graphic novels more than like YA graphic novels, you know, just test the waters a little bit. But here's to hoping that I love this one because it does look like a really fun time. The next one is 1 Year at Ellesmere by Faith Erin Hicks. And this one also looks very cool. All I know is that it deals with like a boarding school. Our main character is end up singled out as a special project targeted by the mean queen bee in her class. And apparently there's like a mythical beast rumored to roam the forest next to the school. And it says at this point Juniper is just hoping to survive the year at Ellesmere. So it just seems like it's gonna be like a fun time. Again, I have no expectations really going into this. I'm just here to have a good grand old time, you know? And then the last one, I feel like it would be impossible impossible for me to go into it without any sort of expectation just because of how hyped it's been over the past like year or two. The Tea Dragon Society. This is by Katie O'Neill. Everybody and their mother loves this book. I know Lisa from With Love Lisa really loves this. I've heard lots of people talking about this over the last, like I said, year or so, and I've just never picked it up. But when I saw that it was available at the library when I was trying to get all these other books, I was like, well, I might as well, you know? It seems really adorable. I've heard nothing but amazing things about it. Of course, I pick a page that doesn't have many illustrations on it. It just seems like a fun time. All I know is that it's about tea dragons. But you know what? Who doesn't love a good dragon? And who doesn't love a tiny little dragon? You know? So hopefully when I pick this up soon, I enjoy it just as much as everybody else. So those are kind of all of the books that I'm planning on reading this month for my kind of middle grade read along that I'm doing with Alyssa. It's going to be so much fun. It's already been a lot of fun. Like I said, it's only been a week, but I'm just having the best time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up. Comment down below what your favorite middle grade novel is because I'd really love to know. Like I said, we all know that mine is Wonder by R.J. Palacio. Subscribe if you've not yet already, and I'll see you guys next time.